Hello guys, and welcome to my most epic video yet. This was a huge body of work for me. We're going through the top 10 PlayStation 4 games of all time that I consider. Now, first of all, don't get the hump, I've got Resident Evil 7 up here because it's not included in the list, and I wanted to actually just cover a few things with it. It's a really important game because that series needed rescuing. Capcom came in and they did some very clever stuff. Also, it's the only game on this list, technically it's not on this list, but it's the only game here that straddles VR and normal game modes. It's as good as it is VR as it is without, but it's one of the purest horror experiences I've ever had on a system. That needs to be noted. Okay, so let's get started. Straight in at number 10, it's Neo from the guys at Team Ninja. I've spoken about this game before. It is actually a homage to the From Software series. It actually borrows the fighting style and various mechanics from the Souls games and of course Bloodborne. This first rule about Neo is do not fuck with Neo. It's a very, very difficult game. In a good way, it doesn't yield too much frustration. It actually plateaus a little bit on the difficulty level, sort of mid-game, but it's really worth looking at. It's a stunning looking game. It runs incredibly well. It's very fast. It's very reactionary. I love the enemies. I love the Japanese lore. I love the characters, the main character in particular. This game is a pretty amazing recent addition to the list and must be looked at. It does feature a traditional mission structure, but there are sub-missions in here that give you rewards, precious loot, various cool weapons. Now let's get onto the loot. What an excellent addition this is to the game. It's got a very detailed Diablo-style loot system, and there's so much variation and so much cool samurai stuff. I mean, it just got me back into samurais again. I was just like, man, this is amazing. And of course, you've got some great variations on weapons and fight styles. You can hold your swords in different areas, giving you different moves, etc. One of the things it also handles very well is range combat. You can pick between a bow and arrow and even a musket weapon, etc. This game is so worth looking at.
Enemies destroyed.
Yeah, I need to get it out of the way. It's near Automata, another very recent addition to this list. I've had this list in my brain for quite a long time, and this one sort of snuck in, it made it in. It needs to be spoken about, and again, I have said that before. Check out the channel. I'm absolutely all over this game. I think it's an unsung hero of the modern gaming genre. It's kind of a sequel to a relatively unknown game on the PlayStation 2, but what it excels in is this fighting, which Platinum have handled amazingly. It also has a second to none soundtrack, and it's got a story that's both haunting and addictive and just plain goddamn weird. Near Automata has got a fantastic world that you exist in, loads of variation here. It also has some really strange, quirky characters. It's a game that doesn't just centre around its RPG elements and sort of hack and slash gameplay. It's got some big decision making here. It struggles with some huge issues here. If you've seen Ex Machina, or if you know the Japanese obsession with robots and AI, then you're sort of going to get the gist of what this game's all about. I love this game so much. It so deserves to be on this list. If you haven't looked at it, get out there and buy this.
These machines, I guess I'll have to look in their contracts.
Okay, again, another pretty recent addition to this list, Horizon Zero Dawn. What a goddamn amazingly pleasant surprise from Guerrilla Games. I mean, they had first-person shooter heritage, they're very loyal to Sony. When this game was being rumoured, a lot of people were just like, that's a tech demo, it's never going to look like that. Wow, were they proved wrong. This game excels on the Pro. If you're looking for something that's going to push your system's graphics, really it is probably one of the best console-looking games out there. A lot of people may rival that, but trust me, it looks phenomenal. It really does, and it doesn't just look phenomenal, it plays amazingly. It's got a great lore and sort of really strange dystopian future story going on here. What I also like about the game is in variation of environments. You go from Arctic to desert to lush green. This game has got something special. I find myself going back to this game a lot. A lot of my open world games, they sort of run their course, but Horizon Zero Dawn has got some really great characters. It's got some really cool sort of cities and villages, sort of Skyrim-esque, where you can explore, find new missions, do trials, open up new stuff. There's some really cool armor and weapons, etc. This is a must-buy for any PlayStation 4 owner. Yes, of course, we're going to include Metal Gear Solid The Phantom Pain or Metal Gear 5, a absolutely awesome addition to the Metal Gear series, and a really tragic story with Kojima leaving Konami and that big bust up. It's going to be this is the swan song for the Metal Gear series in my eyes. I was a huge fan of 1, I owned them all on the PlayStation 2, Snake Eater being one of my favourites, and this game really does pay homage to the series incredibly well. I don't think they're going to be able to push out any decent Metal Gears in this vein from now on in. Of course they'll milk the series as much as they can, but without him, you know, this is tragic. This is a Metal Gear Solid game that exists in an open world format, and a sheer stroke of genius for me, because it allows you to make decisions, approach the enemy camps from different directions. There's an almost infinite amount of weapons and additions and buddies and approaches that you can take. Even the time of day and the weather affects things. It's a very clever idea and opens up the Metal Gear universe even more. There is also quite a lot of resource management in the game, and there's also a very solid buddy system where you can bring in either equipment or vehicles, or even Quiet, who's like a sniper, to get people from range. It works very well, and there's also some great enemy AI in here. I do love the idea that you can still sneak, or you can go in all guns blazing. The game gives you all those choices, and it's got a really cool resource management system where you actually take things back to your base using this awesome balloon, and build up resources, train new troops, you know, expand the mother base. There's a very strong online option for this game also. What a phenomenal addition to the PlayStation 4.
Boulevard in Strawberry.
Okay, it's time for GTA 5. We're at number 6 on the list if you haven't been counting. And I'm old, I'm really old, and I remember GTA 1 on the PC, and it was a bit of a groundbreaker because it featured a hell of a lot of crime, killing, prostitutes. I was having a chat with a mate online the other day about it, and it was a shocking game, even for us kids. But they saw something. These Hauser brothers, they knew they were onto something with it, and it's evolved and turned into really what I can only describe as a technical marvel. GTA 5 tops GTA 4 in so many ways you can barely keep count. The detail in this game, and if you Google it or YouTube it to look at the little intricacies that make this game what it is, there's just hundreds of them. It's amazing. It's almost like a perfect open modern world game. Nothing really comes close to this. It's on the list because it has loads of play styles. If I didn't have an internet connection and I only could have one game on my system, it would probably be this. One of the other reasons I love it so much is because it's got a hugely strong online mode. I mean, all of the missions, all of the heists, there's private lobbies. You can have a private game in that GTA world with just you and some friends. It is the ultimate playground. This game is a groundbreaker. It is one of the best technical examples of how to build an open world game and blend some MMO multiplayer into it. Very, very strong stuff here. Should be higher on the list, maybe. Give me some comments. But that GTA 5 is again a must-know PlayStation 4 game. Okay, Uncharted 4, the Hollywood blockbuster of PlayStation 4 exclusives. What a huge impact this game had on the market, just like its predecessors. Naughty Dog are adamant professionals when it comes to making games, and this one just reeks of quality, fantastic storytelling, really clever sort of scripting and characters, and just a twisty, awesome, adventurous story. It's kind of in the vein of Indiana Jones. It's a game that is just epic in proportions. This is like a Hollywood AAA blockbuster film that you star in, you know. And again, I want to push on this. It is one of the best looking games on the PlayStation 4. It is the reason that every Xbox One owner wishes they had a PlayStation. It is a flagship title. It stands head and shoulders above so many games on the market, and every time Naughty Dog hint or rumor a sequel or a successor, people are just so excited. We just had E3 and we just had some announcements for some DLC on this game. I mean, playing through this is just it's basically bridging the gap between film and game. And of course, Naughty Dog have not skimped on any mechanics. It's got some great gunplay in here. It's got some great companionship in here. There's some awesome stealth mechanics in here. The environment and the maps and the interaction with them is amazing. Guns, unlockables, secrets, just brilliant game. Really, really a must-own for any PlayStation 4 owner, as I've said.
Open sesame. Wrong treasure. Shush. No nice view. No treasure, though. No, but look, you see those crosses? Yeah. Hey, is that a cave?
Oh, yeah. Pale blood. Well, you've come to the right place. Yarnum is the home of blood ministration.
Yes, it's the deliciously dark and PlayStation exclusive Bloodborne. Pretty high on the list here, and I had a bit of a moral decision about whether to include Dark Souls 3 or this game. Don't get me wrong, I am a Souls softie. I love the series. Dark Souls 3 was one of the strongest. Obviously Dark Souls 1 was also very good, but Bloodborne for me, it kind of ticked a few more boxes in my direction. One of them is the sort of dark, gothic, horror direction, and the other one is the sort of quick reaction twitch-based combat that this game promotes. If you don't know, the differences are that you get rewarded for actually hurting an enemy when you get hurt, and there's no shield. So this promotes a sort of reactionary based combat system where if you take a lot of damage, you then should deal damage to actually rekindle your health. It's a pretty cool idea, and it makes you very aggressive, and of course it's got this very quick dodge to the side move or dodge away move, really quick. I mean, look at the speed of it here. It's just amazing how high octane the combat is in this game. Bloodborne will go down on the books as being one of the most important games for the PlayStation 4. Not only did its exclusivity really push the system, it was actually a game that made me pay attention to the console full stop. The fact that it was exclusive, the fact that it was from, the fact that it looked the way it did, the way these bosses played, the way the game just had an amazingly dark aesthetic, and it also has got this cool secret lore system that From always sort of stick to. What a game.
No, we're together. Push them back. I'm on fire.
Yeah, it's Overwatch time, and I didn't think an online-only multiplayer first-person shooter would actually make this list, but I have a story to tell with this game. I bought it on launch, actually, and I'm a huge Blizzard fan. I am a big StarCraft 2 player, not big on World of Warcraft, but I understand Blizzard's level of polish and the way that they further balance their games over time. And what happened with Overwatch was I was into it. I loved it, and I thought it was, you know, great to have a Blizzard game on console that was actually pretty damned amazing. And then I managed to recruit some friends into the scene, and of course they fell in love with it. And there's now 4 or 5 of us. The whole game's direction has changed now because of the communication levels are very high, and we all have our role to play. I feel integral as a team member when playing this game, and it's really opened up for a second time for me. Since owning it, I haven't bored of it one bit. I love the idea of mastering new characters. I really think it's got a lot to give in regards to different sort of classes and different special moves in conjunction with other characters' special moves. This aspect just keeps on giving for me. Of course, there's a brilliant competitive online multiplayer mode to the game, and you know, Overwatch really does, after a lot of thought, deserve to be in the top 3. It is one of the best competitive multiplayer online shooter games that the console has to offer. It looks brilliant, runs brilliant, and Lee, I didn't forget.
Play of the match.
If I had one that works, which I sure as hell don't, what makes you think I'd just give it to you? Huh? Yeah, sure, Joel, go ahead. Take my card. Take all my food, too, while you're at it.
By the looks of it, you could lose some of that food.
Listen to me, you little shit.
No, fuck you! You handcuffed me!
I need you to shut up. All right?
Okay, it's time to talk about The Last of Us, and if you know the channel, then you probably predicted this placement. Again, we have another PlayStation exclusive, originally on the PlayStation 3. Again, as an Xbox 3 owner, I was viciously jealous that I could get my hands on this game. Then we had the remastered edition that came out on the PlayStation 4, and that's this version you're seeing now. The Last of Us is a cultural phenomenon. It kind of spanned a lot of media genres when it came out and when it won all those awards. People on the street knew about The Last of Us. People recognised Joel and the characters in this game, and it's the cutscenes in this game are almost of such a high quality that without the gameplay they would make a fantastic film. It's one of the few games that made me blub like a blasted child. I got so invested in the story that I was just so sad to see the back of the game, so I started to go through it again. And of course the remastered edition comes with that awesome DLC. The whole thing's just a great package. It's kind of a perfect game in my eyes. The crafting is really intricate. You have this great stealth mechanic. You also fight against humans who are armed, as well as these zombies that have a very different attack pattern. The world, the dystopia, the zombie apocalypse is done so well. It has this sort of great ring of the classic zombie horror genre films, and it's just something that's good for me on so many angles and at so many levels. I mean, The Last of Us is just going to go down in history as one of the best games ever made, and an absolute essential for your PlayStation 4 collection. Yes, of course, number one was going to be The Witcher, and never have I seen a game with so much love and detail put into it. CD Projekt Red have set the bar for open world games, and they've also set the bar for great story, great combat, pushed into a game that is absolutely huge and really shouldn't be this much fun to fight, but it just has so many angles to it. The specials are great, the loot system's great, the questing system's awesome, the characters are hilarious.
Lucky thing I don't much care who pays me. You or the bankers.
Meaning Master Hands of Sidaris' moral spine is rather bendy.
You'll be the one with the bendy spine in a minute. I said, shut your mouth. Where was I?
Don't even get me on to how good Gwent is. I mean, that's going to be a standalone game in itself. It's a card game within a game that's totally awesome, addictive. You win cards from various fights with other people. You build your collection. I mean, the game even excels at underwater combat. How many open world RPGs do that? Don't get me onto the water. I mean, I've made countless, even a feature video on how amazing, mind-blowing the water mechanics are on this game. That is just on another level. You've also got some amazing creatures in here, really frightening ghosts and witches and goblins and hags. I mean, let's just look at this combat in a little bit more detail here. Look at this crowd control that's going on here. You've got this roll and dodge button, but there's limbs and heads and attacks coming from all different directions, and I know it sounds a bit big-headed, but whilst I was doing this, I was in complete control. I'm not button mashing, I'm rolling in special directions, I'm building up my magic to make sure I've got counters ready, and I'm watching my sides to know which directions the attacks are coming in. What a game. Totally number one, The Witcher 3. Thank you all so much for going on that journey with me and making it this far. It was a pleasure to make this, and I'm looking forward to the feedback on it in the comments and stuff, especially from you Uncharted 4 fanboys. I don't do this often, but I'm actually going to take some time to sub-beg. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. I have 600,000 views on this channel, but I'm not getting enough subscribers, so please commit, guys. See you down there.